An officer at the Fulton County Jail in Georgia was grabbed from behind last week by an inmate with a shank and then stabbed in the head. The good news is, if there is any good news to that, the officer was taken to the hospital and released the same day. Thank goodness for that. Now, what is going on at Fulton County Jail? Now there was a big shakedown that took place, which is good, and 96 shanks, homemade knives, weapons were discovered. Officers are working in a bad environment at Fulton County Jail, Georgia right now. In the fact of the building itself is causing the bad environment. The jail is so old it's falling apart. There's broken glass and broken windows. The building is crumbling apart. Screws are coming out. Pieces of metal falling. And inmates are using all of these items to make a homemade weapon, a shank. This jail holds approximately 3,200 inmates. And these loose screws, pieces of glass and metal are being used to make weapons, and these weapons are being used on officers as I just described. Now, they'll use them on other inmates as well, and gang members versus gang members. We know that. We all know that. But Fulton County Jail Sheriff said that there's discussions about a new jail, but everybody knows how that is and how that goes. It takes a long time to get everybody on board with putting in a new jail. The zoning, where are we going to build it? Do we tear down the old Fulton County Jail, and where do we put these inmates in the meantime? Or do we find another piece of property somewhere? And then you have to go with issues of people fighting to keep the jail out of their area, away from their neighborhoods. But in the meantime, the officers are working in a environment that I'm sure is not good environmentally. I'm sure the building has some issues, being that old. Respiratory issues could be coming about and so forth. And then the dangers of these inmates making these shanks. 96 were found. And as we all know who have been in the business, that's just what you found. How many more shanks are hidden in the Fulton County Jail right now? Well, I would venture to say a lot more than 96. Now, we have to do our job. Congratulations for going out there and doing the shakedown. Don't stop, folks. Hit them again with another shakedown in a week or so. Whatever you think you need to do. But don't stop. One shakedown and stopping won't fix the problem. You've got a building that is providing the materials for inmates to make weapons. So now you're going to have to take charge, jail management, and you're going to have to continue, in my opinion, to pull these surprise shakedowns and hit these inmates periodically throughout the jail in different areas, different times, different locations. Because whose safety is at stake? Well, the officers, anybody else that works in the jail, and of course other inmates that are going to get stabbed with these homemade shanks, homemade weapons. So Fulton County Jail has its hands full. Prayers to all you officers that work in the Fulton County Jail that you may stay safe. Prayers to all the civilian staff that work in the Fulton County Jail in Georgia that you stay safe. Now more than ever, please keep your head on a swivel. Please pay attention. Please use your peripheral vision. Please look out for things that are out of place. And watch out for inmates. And I do want to say one thing. The officer that was stabbed from behind, as I said, the good news is going to recover. And the statement from the Sheriff's Department is they're going to prosecute the inmate to the fullest extent. And then they threw in there he does have mental health issues as well that are being looked at. Now, that is something that occurs often. I've had investigations where inmates have assaulted officers, taken them to the state attorney in whatever county I was in at the time. We covered 8 counties. And then the state attorney would call me. Hey, need you to go get the paperwork on the inmate's mental health and make it an exhibit in the investigation. And I would go get the mental health report on the inmate. Now, I know some of you think, oh, you can't do that. Yes, you can. When an inmate assaults an officer and the investigator's conducting an investigation, yes, we can get the medical records. Yes, we can get the mental health records of the inmate. Just for those of you that are watching that aren't familiar with that, we can do that. And next thing you know, the state attorney does not prosecute because of the mental health issues of the inmate. That's a hard pill to swallow, especially for the victim, the officer victim or the prison employee victim. Just a tough pill to swallow, you know. And then you say, well, wait a minute. This inmate conducts himself very well, seems to understand everything I say, but now we're going to use the mental health issue. It's a tough pill to swallow, folks. I wish I could say that we could fix that problem, but it's an existing problem that's going to continue, and the state attorney does take into consideration the mental health capacity of an inmate. Does that help the officer who was stabbed? No. Does that help other officers from being at risk of danger from these inmates? No. Let me know your thoughts on that. What can we do about that? When the mental health issue comes up on an inmate who just stabbed an officer in the back of the head with a homemade shank, homemade weapon. We're between a rock and a hard place, and everything we do as correctional officers. I know that. It's a tough job, and many people don't realize how tough it is. Thank you very much for watching. Gary York, True Prison Stories. Please subscribe.